Thank you, Liana. And thank you to everyone at Girls Inc., especially Dr. Stephanie Hull and Stephanie Savage, who got me involved in this terrific organization in the first place. The reason I love Girls Inc. so much is because I hate boys, and especially men. No, that's not true. It's not. I am married to a wonderful man. And in addition to my 2 daughters, I have a 1-year-old son who I love a great deal, so that is not true. The real reason I love Girls Inc. is their commitment to unlocking the bold, powerful potential within each young woman that they serve. Liana is the perfect example of a Girls Inc. girl. She is smart and driven. Over the years, Girls Inc. helped her find best friends, discover a passion for theater, and secure internship opportunities like the one she mentioned, the semester she spent learning about food science at Leprino Foods. When we spoke last week, she lit up telling me it was so awesome. We got to tour the factory where the cheese is made. Now, if you'd ask most LA high schoolers if they wanted to take a trip to the factory where the cheese is made, I feel like they would be like, no. But Liana's enthusiasm and curiosity, not just about theater, not just about things that she was interested in, tells you so much about her character and also about the power of Girls Inc. It opens doors for girls and fosters not just curiosity, but possibility. As Liana mentioned, we had actually met a year ago when Stephanie Hull invited me to speak to a group of brand ambassadors about my career. Now, I've done many talks like this, and I have locked and loaded answers for the questions that they usually ask, but one of the girls asked me something that I had never been asked before, which was, what do you do when you feel like giving up? When you're really scared and you don't think you can do it and you just want to quit? And my answer was bad. I fumbled for a little bit, and I think what I ended up saying was something like, well, I guess just like keep going. And then, I knew that wasn't good, so I think I mumbled something about quitting isn't always a bad thing. Like a lot of people made career pivots during COVID, so sometimes you should quit. Liana was not the girl who asked this question, but I did ask her about it during our talk, and she said she did remember this, and she politely confirmed that my answer had stunk. Afterwards, I thought about why this had stumped me. Perhaps I am such a remarkable, dedicated person that the concept of giving up had never occurred to me. If you've ever seen me start a Pilates video and 5 minutes in, lie on the mat and play a game on my phone, you know that's not true. It's not like I hadn't had moments in my career where I felt like giving up. I had had hundreds of them. But the truth is, I hadn't actually felt that feeling in a long time. As adults, especially once we reach a certain level of success, we stop trying new things, partially because we don't have to anymore, and partially because it's scary and embarrassing. If you're really good at one thing, why would you put yourself out there and risk sucking at something else? It's why you never see Beyonce bowling, because she's terrible at it. No, I'm sure she's great at it, like everything else. Recently, though, I did get an opportunity to try something I had never done before. I've been a writer and a showrunner for the past 15 years, so I've spent many, many hours on sets, but I've never directed an episode of television before. I had the chance to on my previous shows, but I always thought of reasons not to do it. Like I was too busy, which I was, or I was pregnant, or did I even really want to do it? I already had a good career. What would be the point of starting a new one? So I could one day direct a Fast and the Furious movie? I don't want to have to go to a bunch of boring meetings about cars. I came up with a million reasons, but as is true anytime you come up with a million reasons not to do something, here was the real reason: I was scared. But this year, on the Four Seasons, the Netflix show that I created with Tina Fey and Lang Fisher, who's here, thank you, I decided to try it. Now, I know Ginny is one of the honorees today, and so there's lots of Netflix folks here, so if you guys just want to cover your ears for this part, In the beginning, it was really scary, and I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. Now, because it had been a long time since I had had that feeling of doing something completely new, something that I wasn't already confident in. It makes you feel vulnerable, and it makes you feel like giving up. And in the moments where it felt the most daunting, I would call Lang, and sometimes when it was like 5 a.m. in LA and she was clearly still asleep, I would say, "This is what I'm worried about today," and she would talk me through it. And I would ask Tina, who was directing the block before me, who had also never directed before, what is it like? What should I be preparing for? And she would give me tips that she was learning in real time. Our script supervisor, Val, looked through my shot list and she gave me notes. And my assistant, Aaliyah, who is here as well, yeah, Aaliyah, get your flowers. She was by my side the whole month, and almost every night after a long day of shooting, we would have dinner at the Cracker Barrel, and she would say to me, "You know what? I think today went great." And ultimately, it did go great, and I was so happy that I had done it. But the experience reminded me of that question. What do you do when you feel like giving up? And I realized the answer is this. Anytime I felt like quitting throughout my entire life, there's always been a woman that could turn to me and say, "I'm not gonna let you." Growing up, it was my mom and my sister Ashley, who are also here. In my 20s, when I was an assistant at 30 Rock, I remember countless times driving home at 2 a.m. and calling my mom in tears. I didn't get any jokes in. They all think I'm stupid. And then later, Tina, who did not think I was stupid, hired me as a writer and produced my first show and helped me through all the hard parts of that. I've had so many teachers and friends and mentors who showed up for me when I needed it. When I was giving birth to my first daughter and I couldn't get an epidural, humble brag, and I thought, I cannot do this for one more second, I'm going to die. There was this nurse who said, "It's okay, we're gonna do it together." And I threw my poor husband's hand aside, and I clutched onto this woman, and we did. So to that girl who asked the very smart question, what do you do when you feel like giving up? Here is my better answer. That feeling is normal. Anyone who has ever achieved anything has felt it. It's what happens when you dare to do something new. And when you do feel like you want to quit, look to the girls around you. Find your champions, the ones who will hold your hand through it and say, "Not today, bitch, not today." Thank you. Congratulations to Liana and all the girls, all the scholars and honorees, and thank you, Girls Inc., for all the wonderful work you do.